Jake, here we are on March 13th. The Pac-12 tournament has come and gone, and there is no Pac-12 TV deal. Surprised, not surprised? Where are you at on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think every day that goes by that there's not a deal, yeah, we should be surprised. I mean, I think that there needs to be an urgency to get the deal done. I think there needs to be, something needs to be done. Like, that's the reality of the situation, and I think it's kind of funny watching this process play out. Like now, the stuff that we were saying 2 weeks ago, now the national media is reporting. Now, like, everyone's kind of come full circle on the idea that, hey, maybe they're not getting $40 million a year. Maybe they're not even getting $30 million a year. Oh, by the way, maybe they're not even getting $25 million a year. And hey, maybe, by the way, Amazon only wants one game a week and ESPN's only willing to pay $10 million a year. So I just think that there's this sort of flow of information that's happened. And now I'm just sitting here wondering, all right, well, is it going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be Monday? Is it going to be a month from now? Like, I feel like that's ultimately where it's at. I almost feel like it's sort of run its course. We just don't have resolution.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer to that is, honestly, because I think everybody wants an answer today. Everybody wants an answer right now. And frankly, I just don't see that happening. And I think when you look at this situation, I think one of the real indicators is the Utah situation. I mean, as we've told you, I feel like now for a full week, I guess it is, that Utah doesn't want to leave the Pac-12. And I think they are being very, ambitious in their efforts to keep the Pac-12 together. I think they are doing everything they can do to stay with their institutions of higher learning, if that's what you want to call it. But I don't think there is a course correction coming. I don't believe, and again, this is just my opinion, I don't believe that there's some major change coming with the Big 12 and the Pac-12. I think what you're more likely to see happen here is that they are going to announce that there's a new TV deal. I think it's going to be 5 years. I think it's going to be $22 million. And I think that you're going to have trouble getting people to buy into that. Yeah. I do. I think it's going to be very difficult to get a grant of rights. I think that's why there has not been an announcement as yet. I have been told, and we have been told, telling you for 2 weeks now, that the TV deal's done. It's not going to change. It's not going to get any better. The Pac-12 and its executive directors, its other presidents, they all know what the TV deal is. And I think they are trying to figure out their best course forward together. And I think they would like to see if they could do better. I don't know that there's a way to do better, because I think half of your games are going to be on stream, because you're only going to have 3, maybe 4. If you get really lucky, I think you're likely to have 3, maybe 4 games a week. That's it.
Yeah.
That's max. And really, at this point in the new deal, you'd only have 5 games a week. So I say, I think you're going to have 3 games a week. I think you're going to have 1 on a game of the week at Amazon, and I think ESPN and ABC are going to carry 2 of them. I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a pretty rough spot to be in, obviously. I mean, that's not where any conference would want to be. And that's why I say, like, I do think there is this sort of opportunity. It's just sort of like sitting around or kind of lingering for, and again, this is just my opinion. I want to make it really clear. I don't want to get any wires twisted here. We haven't been told anything or whatever. Like, this is my opinion. I do think there's still an opportunity for whether it's Apple or who the hell ever, to come in and say, okay, your situation, what ESPN wants, what Amazon wants, and you have like 6 or 7 other games that are just kind of chilling, that are just like not going to be seen, that are just kind of like going to be played, but mom in, West Virginia is not going to see her kid, at, Colorado or Utah or whatever, on the tube this week, or on Amazon this week, or on ESPN this week. So I do think, like, if I was someone sort of like a dark horse kind of, outlet, I might say, hey, yeah, like, is this a product we would want? Number one, because I do think that's one of the Pac-12's biggest struggles, like people just wanting their product straight up. But number 2, if you do want the product, just how far would you be willing to take it? Because it kind of feels like a thing where it's like, all right, let them kind of sink in this deal and then come in behind it and get a pretty steep discount like that. I don't know if that ever happens, but I do think there could be an opportunity for that, before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I don't know. We need something to happen. If we're being totally honest, I feel like we need something to happen, because I think this is really damaging. And frankly, when you look at the hierarchy now in just the NCAA tournament, who's in a better place than the Big 12? Nobody.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I maintain Gonzaga is still a huge part of this. I think if you look at Gonzaga basketball, I think they're going to play a critical role in the growth of the conference.
Gonzaga.
Because I think if you get to Gonzaga, if you get Gonzaga basketball in the Big 12, I think that you're really in a place now where I don't know why, if you're Arizona, who's a basketball school, why would Arizona not come to the Big 12 then?
Yeah.
Why would Arizona not want to come to the Big 12 at that point? I don't know. I think that's interesting. But the biggest question, and I put this out for everybody in the comments section, is who's the first domino? Who's the first one to make the move?
Gonzaga.
That's a huge question because, by the way, I look at a team like a Grand Canyon University. They're going to go to the WCC at some point. Is that when Gonzaga leaves? Is that now that BYU's gone? I don't know. But, you look at Grand Canyon, they're into the tournament. That basketball program's going in the right direction. They have a phenomenal baseball program. Like, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
You look at the opportunities and you look at the backfill, and I think it's in place. I think teams are available. Frankly, I think a lot of teams outside of the 10 members of the Pac-12, I think there's a lot of teams who'd like to have this done already.
Yeah, I think so. I think people are a little tired of the drama. I think people are a little, really, I guess the word would be uncertainty, sort of the just sort of hanging here in the balance, like gray area, whatever term you want to use. Like, I think people are tired of it. And I have to be honest, there is definitely some fatigue on this conversation. And I almost feel like saying it's rather impressive it hasn't been done yet. Like, I feel like, obviously, like George Kliavkoff is in a tough position, but it's a position that he's made based on the things that he's said and done. And I think that's what I really struggle with in the whole situation is, like, I know that you're not going to go out and get, like, you were never, and I don't care who was saying it, whether we're talking, people like Bill Riley initially in the very beginning of this process saying that the PAC could swing $50 million a year or national outlets or who the hell ever. I didn't believe they were ever getting 50 a year. But
no chance.
To see that this conference is below 30 is surprising, and to see that
shocking.
It's declining,
it's stunning.
It's going the wrong direction, and it's almost impressive at this point that the schools themselves haven't just said, okay, we need to concede a little bit here, we need to get something done, and then we need to figure out what our next steps are. And I think the challenge in that is that nobody wants to sign a grant of rights for 5 to 7 years at $22 million a year and then have to pay their way out when they're not making money in the first place.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. By the way, thank you to everybody who came to the Big 5-0 birthday bash on Friday night.
Yes.
At the Maverick Center. That was phenomenal. But I thought it was interesting. What was the big topic of conversation? Big 12 expansion. Like, that was all anybody wanted to ask me about. I thought it was interesting. I saw a bunch of people asking Brian Keithy about that. Like, I just think it's on the forefront of every sports fan's mind, especially those of us that live in the Big 12 and the Pac-12 conferences.
Facts.
I think that's what everybody's talking about. I think that's what everybody's interested in. And I think the reason that you haven't seen the Pac-12 make this announcement yet is I think they don't know how quite to wrap this up. When you're at you're in a really bad financial position. How do you spin that? How do you stay whole? Because it's not like all these 10 members don't know what the number is. They all know what the number is. They all know what the term is. They all know what Amazon's willing to do. They all know what ESPN's willing to do at this point. I don't buy for a second. I saw reporting over the weekend. I want to say it was on Sirius XM that there were talks about the ACC trying to do a new deal. I just don't think that matters, right? I don't think that matters.
Yeah.
I think when you're in the position that the Pac-12 is in, dude, I just don't think you have any other avenue here. But the longer this goes, I think the worse it gets.
Yes.
So my feeling is what you need to do, you need to announce this deal. If you can get a grant of rights done, by the way.
Which is a huge if.
Yeah, and I think you need to immediately expand. Because I still maintain, and sources at ESPN have told us for months now, there's no way to expand this conference before a TV deal is done. And adding a team like an SMU or adding, unfortunately for San Diego State, adding a San Diego State is not expanding. That's surviving.
Yeah.
And I think that's the exact right way that I would put that. It's not expanding the conference.
It's like this distinction between expanding versus backfilling. Like, yeah, sure, you're adding schools to your conference, but you're not expanding. You're trying to replace something that now is gone. The Big 12 adding, the four corner schools as an example. That's expanding. That's adding P5, D1, freaking money-making machines into your conference. That's expansion. The Pac-12 adding San Diego State and let's say SMU, or at one point in this conversation, 3 weeks ago now, Gonzaga, that's not really expanding. And I think it's a really interesting point because when you look at the financials of it, those schools aren't going to bring you top-tier TV money. They're just not. And it's no shame to someone like San Diego State at all. Even now, the Pac-12 is an upgrade for San Diego State, in my opinion, financially. Financially, there's no way to get around it's an upgrade. Now, from a media standpoint, from marketing, from viewership, okay, that's kind of a different conversation, I guess. But I just think overall, this conversation is desperate for resolution. And that's why, we kind of titled today's show sort of the State of the Union, because I feel like now we're getting into a place where, with this conversation, where it's sort of becoming a college football conversation, not just a Pac-12 conversation, because every day that goes by that the Pac-12 doesn't have a TV deal, it furthers this idea that they're going to collapse, that there's going to be a vacuum effect where you're going to have a bunch of teams join the Big 12, maybe the Mountain West picks up some teams, whatever the case may be, and college football and really college athletics are going to look markedly different. And I think that, I honestly, every day that goes by that you don't get something done, there's no escaping that this is I would say likely, it's going to happen at some point. It's just a matter of if they're able to get a deal done here now to delay it.
But I look at the NCAA tournament, and this is why I think this matters so much. How many Pac-10 teams, of the 12 teams, how many Pac-10 teams are in the NCAA tournament? I believe it's 3. USC, UCLA, and Arizona.
Yeah.
All 3 of them have talked about leaving. Now, we know that USC and UCLA are out already. But if Arizona leaves, and I think Arizona's a 2 seed. If Arizona as a 2 seed leaves, Arizona's a 2. They've got Princeton in the first round.
Yeah.
In the South. If Arizona, USC, and UCLA are out, I'm telling you, with the prominence of basketball, and I know that you guys are probably tired of hearing me espouse about the greatness of Brett Yormark, but you listen to Brett Yormark talk about basketball and then ask yourself, if the 3 Pac-12 teams that are in the NCAA tournament leave a year from now, then what?
We'll explore opportunities to further monetize basketball when we go back into the market after this new TV deal. So I think everything we do from now till then is all about value creation and how can we position ourselves to monetize basketball in all the right ways. I'm convinced we can do that. The strength of our conference obviously will dictate much of that. And as I said,
yeah, I think he's exactly right. I mean, you monetize basketball the way that the Big 12 is monetizing basketball and is going to monetize basketball. I just look at all this and I put all this into a package and I say to myself, hey, you can't afford to lose any other school.
Yeah.
If any of these 10 schools leave the Pac-12, I think it's over.
Yep.
Because I think basketball is incredibly important. And I think you look at the way Fox structured its Big 12 deal. I think you look at the way that Fox is structured and where the real estate on the Big 10 deal went. I just think that the prominence of Alabama right now in the NCAA tournament, you look at North Carolina out of the NCAA tournament, refusing a bid to the NIT because it means that much to them to be ready as a basketball program next year.
Yeah.
Right? You look at the way that all of these brands and institutions are prioritizing basketball. What is the Pac-12 doing? Because you've only got 3 teams in the tournament, which is shocking.
Yeah, I'm not sure that you can prioritize something when you don't know what that something is at this point. You don't know what, sure, this year you've got a couple of teams. But again, if we wind the clocks back to when UCLA was a national powerhouse, a national threat, a team, a team as relevant as, Gonzaga, certainly, UNC, they were a power. And I look back and I say, man, where did all these schools go? Well, we know where inevitably they went. I don't have to tell that story. So that's why I say, it's a problem. You've only got 3 in. But honestly, if they didn't have any in, would that really be a surprise with where you were at right now? I mean, that to me, it wouldn't be that much of a surprise. So,
but doesn't that go back to the importance of San Diego State? What is San Diego State, a 5, I think? Mm-hmm. You look at San Diego State. I mean, San Diego State is playing really good basketball. San Diego State's got a lot of momentum. You know, they're a 5 in the South against Charleston in the first round. Like, it makes you feel like San Diego State's going to win a couple tournament games. You know, and if that happens, and let's say they run into a Virginia, they have a chance to beat Virginia in a 4-5. Like, yes. I could see a San Diego State 4-5. Now, I happen to think Virginia's very good, but I think if San Diego State wins a tournament game or two, I mean, you're making money on that. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to the WCC with Gonzaga and St. Mary's, and then you're the Pac-12, and you've got 3 teams, and all 3 of them have talked about leaving. 2 of those 3 are gone already. And Arizona, I still maintain, I think Arizona is one of the first teams that's going to jump.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting. Let's get your thoughts in here on the Monty Show. Of course, you know, please hit the like button, all 335 of you that are here right now, as we are live in Arizona. A lot of people are asking about why you cut the head off the piece of artwork.
You know what?
We had this discussion before the show started.
We did.
And hater guy over here who hates art. He does not like art. He does not respect it.
It's not true.
Can't paint and really can't draw his own name most days. That sounded angry. No, I'm kidding. You're actually a huge fan of the artwork. Why'd you cut the head off this beautiful woman?
We could have gone the other way, but the thing that you guys aren't seeing behind the camera here, the beautiful Sony camera we have, there's 2 huge arches, and like there's the backyard.
Beautiful Sony camera we have here.
Yeah, and there may or may not be some certain individuals tanning in the background, you know, so wanted to, you know, I felt like the artwork would be, you know, a better, a more respectful background for today's program.
Okay, but again, but why'd you cut the head off of it?
Well, I mean, you know, our heads are more important than her head.
Well, I've got 2 heads, though. But my point is, she's beautiful. She's beautiful, and she deserved more respect than you gave her right there.
Well,
that's all I'm saying. So
sorry, man.
Just remember, when you think about people cutting the heads off of paintings, they probably did it while they were drinking Bucked Up, the official energy drink of the Monty program.
Hey, Monty.
On a day where it's 1,000 degrees in Arizona, and Mrs. Monty refuses to turn on the air conditioning. You know, it's just so warm. You know, she comes in the house and she raises the temperature. You know,
stay hard.
You know, the hose and stuff. But anyway, the point is, Bucked Up Energy is the official energy drink of the Monty Show. Make sure you get to buckedup.com. Use the promo Monty to get 20% off your purchase at buckedup.com. But in the description of this here program below, there's a link to get free samples and a free shaker cup. And I say it every day. I've got the shaker cup right here. Yes, it made the roadie. Of course it did, because it is the single greatest shaker cup ever. And I'm telling you, go get it right now for free in the link below. You get 3 free samples from Bucked Up. It's in the description. I would tell you try the pre-workout, because the pre-workout is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I love it. It's nice and level. You don't get blown up by it. I hate those pre-workouts that make you shake and your face melts off and you go to the gym and people are wondering if you're a psychopath. That's not the way.
As you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
Works and stuff. I don't know. I have a little Arizona energy, I guess. I slept really well last night. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, get the free samples. I love their electrolyte drinks. I really like their BCAAs, their Peach Ring BCAAs. Amazing.
Bomb.
You can get all those samples and a free shaker of your choice, the colors, all that stuff in the link below. Let's get your thoughts in here today on the show. Let's see.
The show.
Who's in first? C. Kaufman.
What's up,
is
bud?
in first, says, hey guys, have a great program.
Yeah.
To which Cowboy Rev, who's a member, says, well, that's a given. See, yeah, I mean, our greatness is a given. I don't think, I mean.
What's a given?
Well, my greatness.
Right, your greatness. I'm just a casual. I mean,
is a given. Yeah, well, you cut the heads off artwork. Right. I mean, it's fine.
He's just a hack.
You know, I mean, it's fine.
Right.
Appreciate that. Raptor88, what's up with you? LV Seminole, also a member. I wonder what George Kliavkoff's spirit animal is. What would you say? A skunk?
A pig?
Maybe a farting frog?
A raccoon?
All right. I thought that was Aaron Rodgers' spirit animal.
Yeah.
Coming out of the garbage dumpster.
Yeah.
By the way, a little breaking news in the National Football League today. So you guys may have heard that Jimmy Garoppolo, the walking orthopedic surgery patient, signed with the now Las Vegas Raiders today. 49ers replace him with Sam Darnold from the Carolina Panthers. Sam Darnold signs a deal with the San Francisco 49ers today. You like that move?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I think you needed to end the Jimmy G era whenever you could. I think it was just time. And for me, it's no shade against Jimmy G. I just think it was time. And I think that, this Brock Purdy ulnar collateral ligament situation needs to get handled. I mean, you can't have... I think people just take for granted that Tommy John surgery in the National Football League is just going to get done and it's going to be fine. I got news for you. Throwing a baseball is totally different than throwing a football. It may have a similar impact on that ligament, but it is a different motion altogether. When you talk about accuracy, when you talk about touch, when you talk about the ability to, throw a frozen rope 40 yards down the seam versus, lofting it out over the running back in the flat. There's a lot that goes into throwing a football at the NFL level, obviously. And that would be my concern if I was a 49er fan. Yeah, sure, cool. Sam Darnold's our backup. We're on from Jimmy G. Awesome, whatever. Cool. I don't even care about that. What I care about is, can Brock Purdy get healthy and be even 90% of the guy he was? Because if he can be, I think you have a real shot to have a guy that can be there for a minute.
Yeah, but I think Sam Darnold brings some calm. He brings some level. He's not spectacular. He's probably not a guy. Hell, he went to USC. They don't win. USC quarterbacks don't win games in the NFL.
It's a reality.
But he's a guy who can be a holdover. And hey, maybe if Purdy's going to miss 6 months, he just had surgery last week, so let's call it September. If he's back in October, maybe, or whatever, Sam Darnold can absolutely bridge the gap there.
Yeah.
He's probably not a guy that's going to carry you. But again, and we'll talk about this in Football 50 in 30 minutes, presented by our good friends at Papa Murphy's Pizza. The 49ers, I think, have won the day.
Right.
I mean, the moves that the 49ers have made today, my God. Mr. Preston, how the heck are you? Happy Monday, casuals. That's a great show. Jake and Monty enjoy spring training. We will appreciate that. Billy Moton says, breaking news, Pac-10 deal will be pick up by the History Channel because they will be history. See, so it'll be on, they're just going to show past games.
They're going to be on Nat Geo before we know it.
Yeah, nature is metal. Come on now. Let's see. Mike Chase, who won the
Monty?
TV. Mike Chase won a TV.
That's right.
At the Big 5-0.
Dude, that's a nice-ass TV, too, I must say.
50-inch TV.
50-inch smart TV can get every single one game a week of Pac-12 football you'd like.
Okay. Thank you, RT Willie, for that. Hey, Monty, have a great show. Happy Monday, everyone. Birthday bash was fun. Thanks for the tickets. You're welcome.
Let's go.
Curtis D316, Utah trying to save the Pac-12 doesn't sound very good. They can't force a good contract if there isn't one offered. Well, and I want to make this clear. I'm not saying that the Utes are doing everything they can do. I think what Utah is telling the Big 12 is, hey, we're just not there yet. We're not ready to make that move. I think Utah is, and I don't necessarily understand it. I think Utah is happy to support wherever the Pac-12 is going.
Right.
I think that feels like the right verbiage to me. And I still don't fully understand why Utah is acting the way they are, because I think they'd be a valued member of the Big 12. I think you'd be one of the better, educational institutions. You would have a chance to, rise the tide, which raises all ships. You have all of that opportunity. You would clearly be one of the contenders at the top of the conference. You would make more money. I don't understand the delay, but I know we've talked about this every day on the show, but I just don't understand what the delay is there.
Yeah.
I really don't. C. Kaufman says, I wonder if MGM is taking a bet on the Pac-12 if the Pac-12 ends. They take bets on everything. So I would think they would.
Yeah.
Do you think 5 years from now the Pac-12 is here?
No, I don't think in this form. I think that people hear, hey, the Pac-12 is burning down, and they think it just evaporates. I don't think it evaporates. What I think it could turn into, there's obviously a couple options. I definitely think it's a real possibility that they're no longer a P5 when it's all said and done. Maybe they're a group of five or, whatever it looks like. But I also think that there's a real possibility that, you look at the PAC and it's just a small, academic focused league. and from an athletic standpoint, it's no longer relevant. The college football playoff isn't a thing for the PAC, like the tournament, none of that. Like you're much more like, just to use an analogy, like you'd be much more of the mindset of like a Stanford who doesn't really care as much about athletics as they do about education. Again, number 3 in the country, I think it was, is that stat we gave out. So, I could see the PAC becoming that. And I only say that because we know what their mindset is. And I think, when you look at the landscape nationally, I think I know for a fact there is a hunger to expand for the conferences that are successful. There is a hunger to expand for the conferences that have the means and the money, and I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. It's a classic life situation. Like, hey, if you have the money and you have good leadership, you're going to be successful. And the Big 12 doesn't have as much money as the SEC or certainly the Big 10, but they still have enough money to pick up teams. They still have enough money to be a viable path forward for bigger brands that are still stuck in the PAC. And that's the thing that I think we need to be saying. Like, for me, they're stuck in the PAC because you can't tell me if Oregon had an offer sheet on the table that said Big 10, $50 million a year, full ride, whatever, that they wouldn't take that thing and run with it. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, I have a problem believing that.
And I do think, to what you've been saying, you said all last week, like nothing's going to come out in this until the tournament's over. Totally agree. You can't have anything coming out while the tournament, basically your biggest event of the year, is going on. That's just not good business.
Yeah, I don't know how you would justify making that move or making that announcement. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me that you would do that before the tournament is over. I mean, you're not going to take attention away from the premier event in all of college athletics. I mean, especially in basketball. And again, I just think you make so much money on it. It doesn't make a lot of sense that you would do that. Mr. Tinfoil Man says, hi, everyone.
Hello.
Well, hello, Mr. Tinfoil Man.
Hello.
Jay Chapman, who is clearly an SEC fan, says basketball is a sport for schools that can't get it done on the gridiron. Well, that might be true, but they're all making money on it.
Well, and you notice that the SEC is taking basketball more seriously now. I mean, obviously, with what Alabama's doing this year, I mean, you start to understand that, hey, like, it's kind of funny, and I'm not insinuating they're cheating or anything, but if you think about it, it's funny how NIL came along. Nick Saban was really successful for however long it's been. You get a fresh coaching staff. A year ago, I think it was, or 2 seasons ago, Alabama had some coaching turnover, and now NIL comes along, and all of a sudden you're relevant. And again, it goes back to this idea that I keep talking about. Hey, you have money, you have people at your school. They may be in other sports, other areas, but they know how to win, and they know how to win through
By the way,
NIL.
What have we heard consistently about Utah? Utah's not good at NIL.
Yeah.
Right? Like the conference, the Pac-10 as a whole is not good on NIL. Like, it's just not something, to me anyway, where I feel like it's a difference maker. In the SEC, I think obviously you're great at NIL. I think in the Big Ten, you have schools that are really good. I think it's hit or miss. But you have a lot of money flowing in. In the Big 12, I think, again, the Big 12 is one of the best NIL conferences in the country.
Yeah.
So I think it is in place. I don't understand the schools that don't want to leverage NIL. I don't understand Utah because it's in our backyard.
Yeah.
I don't understand why nobody is spearheading NIL stuff. They have, I'll tell you, like trying to get Brant Keithy to come to our event was like pulling teeth because you got to go through a website. The football people can't help you. The communications people can't help you.
Yeah.
And you got to go through a website that none of the guys ever look at. So they miss opportunities. And it's just like, good Lord, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really trying to understand why the Pac-12 isn't better at this.
Well, and you have Witt, doing interviews, not recently. I mean, what was that, probably 6-8 weeks ago at least now, where, the last time he spoke on NIL, like, he didn't really have a lot of nice things to say about it. And
I agree.
And that's cool that's Witt's opinion. I respect the guy. Like, he's obviously done a hell of a job at Utah for however many years it's been now. But I think that there's this conversation around the idea that, hey, like, yeah, just because NIL wasn't around for, 90% of Witt's tenure so far, or really 90% of his entire coaching career, all the way back to his early inception years at lower levels of coaching. Like, just because it wasn't around then doesn't mean that it's not around now. Like, it's just something that's come onto the scene, and you have to take advantage of it.
Yep, totally agree. Tim B says, good afternoon, love the show. No, Tim, the show loves you.
That's right.
Colton Bitten says, hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty. Good to see you, Colton. Andrew H. says Reebok for the win. Do you mean the Reebok logo on the long sleever here?
Yes.
Trying to be a responsible, sun-dwelling individual.
Yes, you're
unlike my
using,
wife, who's outside getting sun-kissed, just walks in here like she's at some resort or something. What are we on vacation? Good Lord. David Sebesta says it's 77 degrees and freezing, right?
Yeah, dude, seriously. Like, I don't know I don't know how we can work in these conditions.
I will say, we lived in Arizona for something like 5 years, and I hated every second of it. And now that we're back in Arizona, I totally understand why I don't miss Arizona. But I will also say, hey, man, there ain't no love lost between me and the... Anyway, I will say, the warm weather, the feeling, the heat from the sun...
Oh, it's amazing, dude.
I feel like we have had a lifetime of winter in Utah.
Yeah.
I feel like the great state of Utah.
And you're not the only one saying that. There are a lot of people saying, hey, it's been a long... robust winter.
We came over the hill into Arizona, and as we got down into even like when we were up, oh my God, the mountains, Sedona. When we were just outside of Sedona, we're above Sedona.
Yeah,
where everybody goes skiing here.
Flagstaff.
Good Lord.
Damn,
God,
that Arizona sun is messing with you, bro. Here, do you need me to knock on the door for you?
God, can you hear me? God. If you're, hi. Hi, God. Good to see you, ma'am. If I could please get some like memory, could you
stop crying like a little girl?
I mean, suppositories is fine, man. Anyway, the point is, when we rolled into Flagstaff, there's snow on the ground, but you can feel the sun.
Yes.
In Utah, I feel like it's been so cold that you don't even feel the sun.
Well, and it's really interesting too, not to get too far off track, but like, you can, like, for me, like, I can feel the difference in altitude with how the sun, like, when you're in Salt Lake, you're at 4,500 feet usually, give or take a couple hundred feet, when you're in the Salt Lake Valley.
Yeah.
And when you roll up in the valley on a sunny day, you can kind of feel the sun. Here, you're much lower in elevation, but the sun just, like, bakes your car, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah, by the way, like, my knee doesn't hurt anymore. Like,
no, dude. Nope.
I love it.
Low pressure,
I love
man.
it. Mr. Tinfoil Man says, welcome to Arizona. Good to be back, sort of, not really. Dib says, good afternoon, all. Opening day is getting closer. Go Cubs. Go Cubs. Keaton Critchlow says, hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty. Good to see you guys. Brandon Butler says, Georgie is a sloth. Back to the spirit animal of George Kliavkoff.
He's a sloth.
Yeah, I like, wouldn't he be a turtle because he's always in his shell, like trying to hide from the other?
Did there? It's a shell and a turtle, and he's always in his shell. Like, see what he did.
Oh God, not Tony J. Altimore.
So we put him in timeout last week to allow him to change his name, and he still hasn't done it.
Still has not done it.
Like, we really don't like blocking people, but damn, dude,
you got to take not Tony J. Altimore if you want to be here. If you want to be here, not Tony J. Altimore, you can't have...
Like, just change it to not Mike or, like, not Steve.
Yeah,
why is
or
it
not
be Tony J. Altimore?
Yeah, like, put, like...
Yeah, like, just change your name, dude.
I'm just telling you. I don't want to do it. But I will do it. And Nate,
it's 2:35 Pacific time. I will give you till 45 past to change your name. And if you don't change your name, you're getting blocked. It is what it is.
I mean, it's just, to me, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
You know what I'm saying? So there you go. You can't. The only thing that gets you blocked on our channel is if you impersonate other people.
Yeah, can't have it.
I thought we made that pretty clear. But
all right.
But that's just me. All
Next
right, couple
comment.
more comments. Because I do want to get to the NFL. Jacob Reed.
Boy,
hey!
let me pull it out here. Here we go.
Okay, did you just say you're going to pull it out?
Let's go.
Jacob Reed, the newest member of the channel.
Who's gifting today? Who's starting Monday off the right way here? Come on, dude.
Are we gifting today or is that what we're doing? No, just he signed up on his own. And I'll put the link. Our memberships start as low as $1.99 a month. They go all the way up to $10.99 a month. At the $10 level, $9.99 a month. You get into our members only Instagram chat where we put in all of our exclusive information. It really is a fantastic community. At $1.99, you get shouted out on the show, like
behind the scenes content in the Instagram group. Like
it's all what you want. It's all what you want. CJ Vance says, afternoon, guys. Wow, the pullout is back. Yeah, you gotta, Jake.
What? what? What's the? I don't
This
understand
is a
the problem,
family
dude.
show. You've got to stop talking
Well,
about pulling it
Well,
out.
I'm sorry, man. I'm just talking
I
about
mean,
the
there's-
NFL draft time. Like, I don't know what the issue is.
Dude, and you wonder why you're a virgin.
Well.
Like, you wonder why you have not procreated with, you
fucking donkey.
well, donkeys too, but that's up to you. Look, listen,
I know, man.
nobody's
I know.
going to judge you,
I
sir.
know.
Nobody's going to judge you.
Yeah, I know.
But, stay out of prison and stuff. Court McMullen says 45 days to the NFL draft. Indeed.
Yeah, dude.
Indeed.
Isn't it crazy how fast like February to June goes by?
And now Jeremy Callahan is spelling pull. P-U-L-L. Okay. Mike P says drops out for Harambee. Wow, you guys. Did we really just have a Harambe drop on this? Did you really just pull out Harambe?
Wow,
My
dude.
God. My God. CJ Vance says, glad to have this show. No, the show's glad to have you. Jeff Johnson says, Monty deserves to be a grandpa, Jake. Yeah, please.
Well,
Please.
I don't know what
Let's
you want me
go.
to do, bro.
Just
Like,
start-
I'm working
just-
on it, bro.
Just start throwing that stuff everywhere and hope for the best. Maybe somebody will slip and fall in a puddle. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess, dude. I guess.
Can you do something for me?
I mean, I don't know what you want me to say to that. I'm working on it.
By the way, I got a prank call today. I got like a spam caller. You might be eligible for the employee tax credit. We had some fun with that guy.
Yeah, you did.
I do it. You have to give like Mrs. Monty hounds me. She's like, you're wasting your life with those guys. You should just hang up and block them. Because every time you answer, every time they answer, you answer a spam call, they know that you'll answer, and then they're just going to keep calling you back.
I don't give a baker's fuck.
But it is so much fun to like, hey, yeah, Tad, Steven.
Yeah, what's your
bait and tackle.
go-to? Yeah, explain your go-to real quick.
When I get a spam call and there's actually like a human being there, I'll be like, hello. And it's usually like, oh, hey, man, did you know that you're eligible to lower your credit card percentage rates on your rectally inserted business card? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, tell me about it, bro.
Okay, so how many employees do you have in your business?
I have 31.
And what do each of those employees do?
Well, my one guy, Rodney, he's on parole. He had an incident back in high school. She was 15. There's nothing he could do. But Rodney wraps lures for me. And I mean, he wraps it up good.
And is your business profitable?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, we made $10 million last year.
You're casual.
So do I get those employee tax credits? Well, what do you guys do? Well, the name of our business is Tad Stevens Bait and Tackle. We're the #1 bait maker in the country, you. And they'll be like, okay, what's your email address? And I'll be like, go yourself at gmail.com. And that's
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That's usually what'll get them. But if they don't fall for that one, I'll change my voice back to my normal voice. And be like, hey, dude, how long are we going to do this until you figure it out? I'm just messing with you. And then usually they hang up.
Yeah.
So, and that was the case today, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Do you guys play the prank call game in the comments? Do you guys do that? Do you answer the phone knowing it's a prank call or it's a spam call?
My
and you're
wife
like,
hates
all
that
right.
I do it. My wife she just says, will you just hang up? We have productive lives to live.
Well,
so
there you go.
Yeah, but it's fine. I actually enjoy it. Let's see. SA says someplace a girl can be heard muttering, Jake is no John Holmes, but he'll do. Do you know who John Holmes is?
Why do we do this?
Do you know who John Holmes
No,
is?
dude.
You don't know who
Why would I know who John Holmes is, bro?
Just go look at the banana that's on the counter. That'll tell you who John Holmes is. He's like an adult performer like back in the 50s.
Come on.
What?
Come on.
Everybody knows who John Holmes is.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not everybody.
Mr. Preston says, I answer every spam call. I speak fluent Spanish. I always speak Spanish and then always hang up. Okay. I like it. McKinley Cutler says, I play the random text game. Bigfoot Hunter says, I call spammers back and spam them. See, yeah, I can't do it. We used to, but whoa. Hey now. D'Anthony Saltmores Klyovkov prank calls Eye on TV. See, now, this is our guy.
That's well done right there, dude.
This is our guy, the not TJ, whatever the guy's name was.
Yeah.
He's now created a new account. He's back on the show.
Oh, see, thank you, dude. See, now the guy deserves credit. Now we can all support you positively. That's a great comment right there.
DeAnthony Saltmore.
Okay, great. I'm good with that, you know? I'm good.
Matt Ritson says, I tell spammers this 1,000 call, thank you. Okay. Keaton Critchlow. Yes, I always answer and then tell them just a second every couple of minutes or so, and after a few minutes, they get really mad and hang up. Okay. I just prefer to mess with
that.
them.
Has a lot of potential. Just a second.
Hey,
make
just
a
hang
bunch
on,
of, you make a bunch of noises in the background.
Just hang on, dude. Just hang on.